Hey there, Four States. This is Luke Taylor, and welcome to another edition of the KNEO Community Connection here on 91.7 FM. And today we have with us Lauri Lyerla, and she is the director for the Chamber of Commerce, the Neosho Area Chamber of Commerce here in our local area. And she's going to be telling us today about something very important that's coming up on the ballot. And so, hey, Lauri, thank you so much for joining us here on KNEO again.
No problem. I always love coming in and filling you in on what's going on.
Yeah, we really appreciate that. And it's Chief Executive Officer. Sorry, I got your title there wrong. But
oh, that's okay. That's okay.
Well, Proposition A, I know there's some confusion about this because there is a state Proposition A for the state of Missouri on the ballot. But then there's also one that just pertains to the Neosho area. And that's what you're going to tell us about today. So what is Proposition A for the local issue?
Yeah, so Proposition A that is on the ballot for the city of Neosho is a use tax. And then it has projects that the city has designated that if it was passed, that the funding raised from that use tax that it would go for. So digging in a little bit about how a use tax works, because I think that's where a lot of confusion stems. So a use tax is simply when purchases are made online from out-of-state vendors or purchases from out-of-state that are then brought back into like a titled vehicle or something. Mm-hmm. But the biggest part of that is the online purchases from out-of-state vendors. Right now, you would just be paying a use tax from the state, which is 4.225. The use tax, if the city passes it, it would have that additional 3%, which is what we pay when we buy from our local. It's part of our sales tax revenue. Would be added to those sales. So 3% on those sales. And also, it would only be from online out-of-state vendors that reach Nexus in Missouri. So our larger online retailers. So to reach Nexus, a company or a business has to sell $100,000 in Missouri or have a physical location, whether at a warehouse. So this is really going to impact your larger online retailers like Amazon, those types of things. Mm-hmm. And why the Chamber supports it, and why we feel like it is a critical, important piece of how we continue to be a community that thrives and has great amenities in our community, is when people are buying out of state and online, then there's no dollars that are contributed to our local economy. It's also putting our local businesses that do have products for sale at a disadvantage, because to compete, they're competing against online retailers that don't have to contribute any sales tax. And our local businesses, of course, do have to contribute sales tax. And so this levels the playing field for business. We know that, I'm passionate about shopping local, but I still buy things online. There are things that aren't available. And so it's a way for us to continue, no matter where we're buying our items, we're supporting our local community with that revenue that supports all different kinds of things. You know, sales tax revenue helps us with our fire and our police and our infrastructure and all those things, parks. And so those are things that we want in a community. Mm-hmm. And as every year more and more things are bought online, we have to make sure that to have a community that is competitive, that is someplace that businesses want to locate, that industries want to locate, the amenities and how nice the community is very critically important. And so this is just one more way that we're ensuring that we have the resources needed to make sure we have a great community. And so then if I jump into what projects the city has designated, so over the last few years, there's been lots of conversation of, if you could dream of what Neosho has, what would it have? Mm-hmm. And the things that are on this list, top those. And I want to say that over the years, those conversations have stemmed into the city investing in bike trails and a community effort to get them, and a dog park. So those conversations have been going on. And so this is the city's way to try to meet those wants and needs of our community. And so those 4 projects that they've identified are an aquatic center. Our pool is almost 50 years old. And so a great pool for our families and people to enjoy in the summer, pickleball courts, an inclusive playground. So all children of all abilities can play together in a safe environment. and upgrades at the golf facility to accommodate this being located at our beautiful golf course. So those are the 4 main projects that the use tax funds. I have had people say, well, those aren't things I need or that I would use, but do they create the quality of life that the people you love or your customers would come here to use? So we feel like this is a vital step in how we continue to move the community forward.
Well, you did make an interesting point there was a luncheon earlier this week where you were informing the community about what Proposition A is all about. And you made a point that thousands of people go to visit Joplin every single year from the Neosho area to visit some of their amenities like their public pools and stuff like that. If we had that in Neosho, that would not only keep those people in Neosho spending more money in Neosho, it'd bring in other people from the surrounding communities who might want to come and enjoy those things right there at our golf course. Yeah,
I think sometimes people don't realize every time someone leaves our community for an amenity in a neighboring community or another place, then they're taking their revenue of the day with them. And so the Placer AI reports that we're able to pull, that's those numbers I was able to pull. So I was able to look at the Joplin water parks, and 3,000 people that are residents of Neosho visited those parks last year. Well, that's 3,000 times people leave our community, and when they're there, they're going to eat there and shop there and spend their dollars there. And so anytime we have amenities that keep people here so they don't have to leave our community, then that's regular sales tax revenue that stays in our community. And then the same as is that those are reasons that people come to our community. And so that is wonderful for our community and for our local businesses. The more that we can attract people to come here for the day, whether it's to shop, to eat, to spend some time, that's of real value to our local businesses. And so a lot of reasons why this is important. Also, this is not something new as far as other communities. There's 305 other communities in Missouri that have passed the use tax. And so the communities we're competing against to attract people to they have it. They have this additional revenue stream coming into their community and have seen it be successful. And the other thing is that every one of them has seen that revenue channel grow every year. And what that shows is that more and more online businesses is held every year. And so as that trend goes up, this is a really important step to keep revenue coming into the city for the amenities and the services that a community needs. But also, if we don't have it, then, people concerned about property taxes being, at some point, if we don't have enough revenue coming in, then other means are going to have to do. And this is, I think, a really fair way because it's based on what you're purchasing. If you shop local then this doesn't affect you. This is definitely a way to always be supporting local and being part of your community.
Yeah, and that's the other thing I was going to ask you about. And so it's 305 other. I guess is it cities or municipalities in the state of Missouri have already passed this for them? Is that what you were saying?
Yes.
Okay. So it is not some wild and crazy idea that we would pass it here because this is a very common thing and really just kind of modernizes us as people trend more and more toward online shopping. It would modernize Neosho in our tax structure in that way. So, all right. So, hey, we've been speaking today with Lauri Lyerla. She's with the Chamber of Commerce right here in our Neosho area. And there's all the information you need to know about Proposition A and what it would do if it is passed here in the Neosho area on the ballot. And when's that election going to be held, Lauri?
It is Tuesday, April 8th. So get out, and we do have information on our Facebook page. The city has information on their page. So I encourage you to get out and check it out.
Okay. All right. Well, hey, we appreciate your time and informing us about all this, and hope you have a great day.
All right. Thanks, Luke.